So my name is Brin. I'm from the UK. I'm come from the countryside near Cambridge, and I've lived in China since about 2004. When I came to China, I noticed there was a lot of abandoned buildings. The reason I wanted to come to Beijing is that this is really the center of Chinese culture. Other places aren't as cultural as Beijing. It was the week just before Chinese New Year in 2014. I was in Great Leap Brewery, and there was this guy sitting at the bar. He was very drunk. He said, "I was exploring in the hills and I found a castle." I thought, wow, I'm going to go and find that castle, right? Exploring further, I found this building. And this building actually used to be a Catholic school. So that's kind of what draws me back to this place. And these places, they're different every time you come. Maybe they're falling down a little bit more. Maybe the weather is different. Maybe different people have come in and done something with it.
May? I didn't notice that before. There's a room number. 121. Pretty big room, isn't it?
And also there's always something new that you can find. So I've come to this building so many times.
Georgia Lund CD. What year is this one? 2004. Did Georgia Lund do that song that goes Boyang Muffin Love, 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 blah 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 ding. Was that Georgia Lund?
If you spend time out here on your own, you sit here quietly, you can start to get a feeling for it. And I think that's something that's absent in Chinese society now, is that if people are going to shopping malls and cinemas or KTV, that doesn't speak to anybody. That's not culture. These kind of places are culture. Lots of people say this to me. They say I have this superpower for realizing what's an abandoned building. It's not really a superpower. Like, you can look at this building and you know it's abandoned, right? But other buildings are more difficult to tell. But usually I can tell. Okay, if we look up here, we can see a doll which I hung from the ceiling. This was part of my scavenger hunt event for Atlas Obscura. And I took about 10 different items, and on each item I put a QR code. And all the QR codes were connected to the next item. And people had to go looking for each object one by one. So all of these guys, maybe 10, 12 guys, were looking all around this hospital for the items, but none of them found this item. You might be wondering, how did I put this doll up there? Well, in fact, what I did was I went to the floor above, and there's a hole in the ceiling up there, and I hung the doll through the floor in the ceiling above, and that's how he's hung up there. In 1997, the grounds of this school were actually used as part of the movie Jia Fang Yi Fang, which stars Guriel and Ying Da. So if you look here, there's actually three, I don't know what we call these. These are three plaques which have come from the Summer Palace. On my left down here is actually a really large plaque which has also come from the Summer Palace. So you can see that this building, even though most of the bricks come from 1919, actually a lot of this was recovered from the Summer Palace. And then once I came here with my French friend Jude, we'd finished exploring the building. We were walking around the building and I noticed a hole in the ground. In this room? Yeah. You can see that. You can see basically in this room they've left lots of jars of human organs. So if you look closely, for example here there's a brain here. There's some, well, you can, I don't know if you want to look in that. Let's look in the bigger one. And you can see here, I think that's probably a liver. There's some intestines here. And maybe I can take the lid off that. And actually, if you look inside, there's a brain. There's the blue one's probably a human kidney. So these are actually human organs that have been left here, probably from the hospital that nobody wanted to touch. Is this okay? And then in this one, you can see that there's like other bloody organs in here, maybe heart or something. Oh, the lid come off that? No. But you can see there's organs in that, and then nobody wants to come in here and take them away, because I think a lot of Chinese people are kind of scared of dead bodies and ghosts, so they're really afraid to touch this stuff. There's no ghosts in this building, but I am the ghost. When I come to a place, nobody will find me. And that's a good attitude for it as well, is that you want to go in unseen and leave unseen and just leave everything as it was. It really pisses me off when I go into a building and people have broken things, taken things, graffitied it. When I got here, Beijing didn't have as much culture as I thought it was going to have. It's this kind of empty history, and I think you see that even now, is that Beijing boasts that it's got a very long history, but you can't really see it anywhere. Instead, people were going to shopping malls, they were going to cinemas. That doesn't speak to anybody. That's not culture. These kind of places are culture. So that's the thing that I really appreciate about this building especially, is that it's got such a rich history. It just kind of speaks to me. When you come into an abandoned building in Beijing or in China, there's nothing. Everything is gone. And it's the same for every abandoned building that I find in Beijing and in China, is that there's nothing left. A lot of these buildings, it's just like a skeleton with no organs in it. And I try to walk around and try to reimagine what the body of that place would look like, what the life of that building was. And at times it can be very, very challenging to try and reimagine that. Bringing old buildings back to life again.